Good morning. It is 7:35, and Mayor Dennis Kintigh joining us here this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right. Well, good news is y'all got everything done in time to get back home and catch a little primetime TV.
Yeah,
So,
which was amazing. No, it really wasn't too bad at all. We had 9 counselors. Counselor Roebuck was out of pocket. I have heard that he had a birthday.
I think I saw some rumblings of that on the social media.
So who knows where he's at? Hopefully he's out on bond by now.
He knows a guy.
Yeah, he knows a guy. So Counselor Kennard and Counselor Moore, they both did it by go-to. So
Okay.
we had 7 people in attendance.
Good deal.
We went off and started right promptly with a presentation by our, I guess you would call it our financial team. And that includes the city manager, Joe Nebb, the director of administrative services, Juan Fuentes, and Janie Davies, our chief financial officer.
Okay.
And they did kind of a tag team presentation. It's what we called it was the mid-year financial review, because we're halfway through this fiscal year.
Right.
What? It's January. No, it's fiscal year starts July 1. Don't ask me why. Ask an accountant.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just want to be different.
You know what? I think you're spot on. So this gave an overview. We want to get the PowerPoint slides out and available because it would be so much easier to look at this. The long story short is we're in great shape financially.
Good.
We truly are. We're well above budget on our revenue coming in.
Good.
We have 3 times the necessary reserves.
Good.
The state requires us to have what they call 1/12 of our operating. We have 3 times that.
Good.
And we've been something that we've been shooting to do for a while, but we've been able to accomplish it. We have planned and budgeted some pay increases based upon the inflation that we've experienced.
Good.
But the good news is we have that built in. Those will be kicking in on July 1. We have the way our payroll works is you have steps and you have grades.
Mm-hmm.
So your grade, I'm making up a number here, grade 10 and step 1. After you end up going up to a step 2 after you've been there a minimum period of time.
Sure.
Those step increases occur on January 1,
Okay.
and they are a 2% increase. So
Okay.
each step is 2% higher than the previous step.
Going
Then in July 1, we kick in the cost of living increase based upon the Social Security CPI. It's going to be 5.9%, but once again, we've got that budgeted.
Sure. Quick question, just since we're talking budget here. You mentioned we were talking about reserves, or we're doing really good there. It just reminded me, I'm curious, when we first started about the pandemic and everything, we were, obviously gross receipts was a big concern, taking a hit. Looking at it now, are we seeing, are those gross receipts numbers, they're not a pre-pandemic numbers, or are they? I mean, what are they? Are they better? Are they,
Yep.
what's that number look like for us?
That is actually better than it was pre-pandemic.
Okay.
With a few exceptions. Now, we had an anomaly in September of 19 or 20, September 20, I think it was. We had a huge spike, and the State Tax and Revenue Department will send us our, quote, share of the gross receipts tax every month. Let me back up a little bit here. So you as a merchant, you as a business, you have a transaction occur in July, in the month of July.
Gotcha.
You have to pay the state all of the gross receipts goes directly to the state by, I think it's the middle of the month. So that would be the July transaction, payment to the state in August. And then 1 month later, September, the municipalities and counties get our portion of the gross receipt. Now, out of that 7.8% gross receipts we have here, 5.5% is the state. And a portion is the county. And in cities around 1.25 or 2.25, I'll have to double check that. The state does not tell us who paid what.
Right.
And sometimes we get a little bit of money, and sometimes we get a lot of money. but they won't explain anything.
Gotcha.
So September of 20, we got this incredible $5 million. We usually run roughly around $3 million a month.
Okay.
So we got this $5 million. No explanation. No clue. We got another big bump, not as big, in November, and we go on.
Okay.
Now, it's
not like we're worried that we get a refund from the IRS and we're like, what am I getting? Should I hold on to this in case they want it back?
Well, that is a legitimate concern because they also have the right to say, oh, we've screwed up. We're not going to give you anything this month to make up for the money. And so that's where really the reserves come in.
Okay.
I would say the reserves are more critical to protect us from the gyrations at the state, at tax and rev, than anything else. We have no way of knowing what those folks are going to do. We have no access to the data they have. It's Santa Fe,
Gotcha.
and it's the Santa Fe crowd.
Which obviously that doesn't. I mean, it's government funding. That all should be as transparent as possible from the very top to the very bottom. And unfortunately, that's not what's going on. Which, well, you can do the math and figure out why New Mexico is the way New Mexico is, and that's one of the many reasons why New Mexico is the way the New Mexico is.
So, as was taught very long time ago, the definition of should is ought to, but not necessarily will.
Very good. But yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, we haven't really talked about that, but we were expecting the worst there, and to be honest, I think
no, we didn't.
For that first year, obviously numbers were skewed, but
everybody went to Home Depot.
Yeah. But I was like, I'm wondering if it's kind of picked back up. I mean, certainly, I think tourism is over the summer we had great crowds and things coming through and shopping and all that. So I was like, I'm thinking we're doing okay there. So that's good.
So that was an hour. Well, okay. It was 57 minutes. It was an hour. Anyway, we got it, and then we got into the meat of the meeting. First item up was actually pulled off of consent by Councilor Oropesa, and it was the Chavez County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Ms. Karen Sanders, who's the Emergency Services Coordinator, wonderful lady, gave a nice brief. Basically, we're required to do this plan every 5 years.
Okay.
That's what this was. It deals with natural disasters. Councilor Oropesa doesn't this cover the pandemic? No. This covers natural disasters. Tornadoes.
Hurricanes. If we ever get one of those.
We don't get one. Tornadoes, snowstorms.
Although if we get one, that would be a disaster of natural proportions.
That would be incredible. Flooding, those kind of things.
Earthquake, whatever, yeah.
So that was explained, and we thanked her, and then we bebopped on to the rest of the agenda. Admiral Beverage Company, they're building a brand new warehouse down there at Southeast Maine and Brasher. It's huge. That thing is monstrous. They got that little one over there on Atkinson, right at McGaffey. Mm-hmm. So they're building this monster.
And aren't they kind of the hub for Southeast New Mexico?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they're servicing Eddy County and everything out of there. I think. But
and so what they're building is this. And so what it came up is we're doing a program called Industrial Revenue Bonds. Go ask your accountant to explain it because we don't have enough time on this radio show. But this resolution is basically to say, yes, we the city intend to issue industrial revenue bonds. So we had some presentation from the folks at Admiral Beverage, and they kind of gave us an overview on what's going on. I'm telling you, this thing is. They showed us what they built in Albuquerque. This one's not going to be quite as big, but it's still going to be very big.
Gotcha.
And the point is that this is not the final agreement. This is, let's go forward, city staff. Mm-hmm. So city staff now has to do some more things. And there's a lot of paperwork. We have to do an ordinance. We have to do another resolution. We have to do agreements, all kinds of stuff. I'm
just curious because ultimately it's the state that issues the license one way or another. So in essence, are you guys in the point where it's Admiral Beverage and the city putting the package together to present to the state, or is it them proving to you guys that you're worthy of it, and then you go to Santa Fe and say this is what? How does that all work?
Now, when you think about license, you're thinking of the liquor. That's already been dealt with.
Okay.
This is a tax minimization option that allows Admiral Beverage to, shall we say, optimize or minimize their tax situation. And excuse me. So we ended up having it's a $9 million project. So it's not as huge by any means as Loprino's was. Loprino was like 120 million.
Gotcha.
But this is still a significant investment in our community. Councilor Moore voted no on this. Now, that is an alcohol distribution center. We don't know if that's the reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we moved on from there.
Okay.
Budget adjustments came. This once again is a monthly house cleaning thing. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Some new things come up, like, for example, we get an insurance payment for a wrecked vehicle or whatever. That's additional revenue we had not anticipated. We have an expenditure to, say, repair the vehicle. That's something we had not budgeted. That's an adjustment there.
Gotcha.
So these things are going through day in and day out. And then once a month, we have to adjust the budget that we passed and send this all up to the state.
Gotcha.
The state watches us like a hawk. They do this to everybody. And, you know, it's good and bad. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind the oversight, but
you wish that it that was on both sides.
Yes.
That's the only thing. It's like, all right, you hold us to these standards. Why can't we hold you to the same standard? Or you're being held to the same standards as we are from the feds or whomever, you know?
So we dropped a resolution dealing with site planning. Staff is going to deal with that administratively. And then we moved into zoning, proposed ordinances. We're going to deal with temporary signs. We're gonna fix our sign ordinance. Basically, what we're going to do is acknowledge the reality that the quote right of way, which supposedly is owned by the city, which is owned by the city,
Right.
but which is maintained by the property owner adjacent to it. And think of that space between the sidewalk and the curb that you mow. That space is technically not yours. It is the city's, but you're responsible for maintaining it. Oh, go figure. So our ordinance, as it exists, prohibited signs in that area. But the problem is that's where all the signs go. I mean, and not just political signs. It's like the signs from Grace Church or from
the high
real
schools.
estate.
I got a football player here or whatever. Yeah.
So we're changing that to authorize temporary signs by the property owner, not anybody, but only the ones who lives right there.
Okay.
So that's in the process. That was an authorization to advertise. We will vote on the final ordinance next month.
So in essence, would someone need to get permission to put something in front there? So if say you're running for office, you say, hey, can I put a sign in the median here or whatever you want to call it in front of your house? They still have to get the owner's permission.
Yep.
Gotcha. Very good. Okay.
Then we had an ordinance adopting or proposed ordinance. We're going to have a public hearing next month on amending our Clean Air Act to accommodate the new stuff we have with A, vaping, and B, marijuana. So went over that. That was approved, except for Councilor Sanchez voted no. Once again, I'm not going to speculate. Councilor Sanchez, every councilor votes how they choose.
Sure.
And my position is I will never ask them why.
Sure.
You as a constituent may, but that's inappropriate for me to ask.
And if you ever pay really any attention to city council and things, they, a lot of times when you see someone voting, it's because of, like you said, it's something that they morally oppose or something, and they've said that, and they consistently vote that way, and then at least, all right, well, at least I know that's where they stand, and so that's why you vote that way. And to be honest, if you live in those wards, that's your right. Ask and say, hey, I'm curious, why do you vote no on that? And they should give you a reasonable answer because they are your representative. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So then we just really started into rocking and rolling. Things like a new roof on a building out at the Air Center, new lease for Head Start at down there in McGaffey. We redid an award for the janitorial services. That one got a couple no votes or PESA, and I don't have who else voted no. Sorry. New HVAC control system. It turns out more than just more than thermostat. and boilers and all kinds of other stuff.
I figure, but that's why I'm not an HVAC.
Boy, wouldn't you make it? You make a killing out there. All right. So this is at Sidney Gutierrez Middle School, which is the old, I think it was the old NCO club or the old officers club at Walker.
Okay.
1,000,000 years ago.
Well, is it real nice? It was probably the officers club.
Yeah, it was probably really nice back. It had a swimming pool, but that's been filled in for 20 years.
That's probably the O club. NCO club was not as nice as the O club.
Gotcha. So, interesting little tidbit on this one. The offer from Rhodes to do all this work was $98,000 and change. So that expired on December 29th. Prices had gone up.
Yeah.
So we had to adjust this by about $3,000. So the final is just under $102,000, but it needed to be done, and so, bam, we're working on it. Scope of work for security services at the Air Center. Once again, this is required by the feds that there be armed guards, not inside where TSA does the check, but outside.
Out the perimeter there.
So we're going out with the request for proposal. We got that okayed. Then two exciting, what we call them task orders. Let's explain this again. We have a company called Armstrong Consulting. Mm-hmm. Armstrong Consulting is on contract with the city. The FAA actually requires large air centers to have engineering consulting firms under contract.
Gotcha.
So we get them. We actually get some money from the feds. That helps cover all this. But they're just consulting at that level. Now, to do some real work, then we have what's called a task order, and it comes in and gets signed off. But because it's over $60,000, it has to go to the council.
Okay.
So in this case, the first one up, we call it Task Order D, was for the design and construction engineering services connected to the large hangar project.
Yes.
Now, in about an hour, I'm going to be part of a weekly conference call where we check on the status of this. This is the large hangar, the fabric covered hangar for the 777s. Mm-hmm. Very excited about this. Really looking forward to getting this moving forward. Sure. We had some complications, unnecessarily complicated funding, I believe, but that's the way it is in this state. Nothing happens easily.
Yeah.
The good news is we're past that. We're now rocking and rolling and moving forward.
And this is kind of really looking at as a first step of many of really opening up the opportunity for some real airline industry companies and things to come into this area and set up shop at the Roswell Air Center.
Well, and here's an interesting point, too. All right, we have out there called Maintenance, Repair, and Overhaul, MRO companies. We've got AirSail, we've got Chavez, we've got General Aviation, and Ascent is coming. So if another company wants to come here, that's fine, but we have 4 strong ones here now. Mm-hmm. And what we're attempting to do, because we're looking at enlarging Hangar 84 where Chavez is to give them more flexibility so that we want them to have more customers.
So they can expand their operations in our facilities.
Yes. And so we don't need more MROs.
Gotcha.
I don't believe.
We just need more infrastructure for our current companies that are calling it home.
Now, if somebody comes and says, "Hey, I'm what's the name of the other one? Skipped my mind." But there's another large MRO outfit out there. If they came and said, "Hey, we'd like to be in Roswell," we're not going to say no.
Yeah, we're going to say, we'll find a spot for you.
Yeah, we will find a spot for you. Trust me, we will.
But we're trying to make happy the folks that already call it home. I got you. Makes sense.
So this is a $1.33 million.
Okay.
For this work. Then the next task order, which is very different, it was about for a little over $500,000, is to do the engineering design for redoing the ramp space around the terminal and to the west towards what we call our general aviation area.
Okay.
That's the area that needs to, that's some old asphalt there, needs to be redone. And so that's
just funny to say. It's some old asphalt there.
Yep, old asphalt. Bam. So we got that. Excited about this. These are, we're doing a ton of work out there. And we got a lot of money coming in from the feds that is really helping us
Good.
with this stuff.
Well, that air center, I mean, that's a linchpin for us. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's the third leg. I mean, we've
Yeah.
already got a very strong oil and gas industry here.
Mhm.
We've got a very strong agricultural community because of water.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to build on the third leg, which is, in my estimation, aviation. This
Sure.
is something I've been preaching for 8 years now.
Well, in communities like this, let's face it, you know, it's not unheard of to be, one-trick pony towns, oil
Yep.
and gas or whatever. And Roswell's in a unique situation where if we play our cards right, regardless of the financial world that's going on, we're pretty stable regardless because we got a three-leg stool here instead of a one-legged stool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you nailed it. Final item up we had was a number of measures, about $700,000 for upgrades at the zoo. Now, these included some design work that was like for our new entry. Leprino Foods, one of our partners, has committed to a $2 million donation
Oh, nice.
for the farmland experience. That's going to be a new entrance, so we got to do the design work for that. We have some additional funding
Okay.
that we have from the feds that will go towards that. But in addition, we had some security upgrades, some fencing that needs to be done. And there was Mr. Wright, the new zoo director, who gave the presentation. Neat guy. Get out there sometime, go through the zoo,
Yeah.
meet him. That passed 8-1. Council Orpesa was kind of throwing rocks at it, saying, well, we should spend this money on streets. And, yeah, okay. We could throw everything at streets and leave everything else to rot.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Sure.
And obviously the council didn't either.
Gotcha.
So we're using some of our federal money for this, not a huge amount, $700,000, but we're actually going to help make that a better experience, and we're excited about that.
Good.
Well, and upgrading. Oh, we're also going to upgrade the bear exhibit
Facility there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And Mr. Wright's got some great ideas about this. Very exciting.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing some wonderful work out there.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to see and getting. So keep making plans to check back regularly at the zoo there. And
Yeah.
some new stuff.
So we actually had a few more presentations from Mr. Nebb, and
Is
at
that
the
it?
end, and we were done by 8:20. So it was like amazing.
Nice. Well, good deal. Of course, if you missed any of the meeting and you want to watch it, it's available at
Yeah.
your leisure. Go to the City of Roswell's website, roswell-nm.gov, and there's an archive of since a couple of years worth, I think now of
We
city council
we actually have a
meetings.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, and that'll link you.
Yeah.
The actual website will link you to the YouTube channel.
And it's We Believe Studios.
Nice.
Yeah.
Little alien theme there.
Yeah. It's really kind of pretty cool because we also have little explanations like how do you do your water bill online?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have those things, and we have other presentations from different staff members on things and how
Yeah.
they're working.
So if you want to learn more about city services or
Absolutely.
tutorials on, like how to pay your water bill or something like that, you'll find those videos on the YouTube channel,
Yep.
which again, you'll find a link through the city's website there too.
Yep.
Very good. Well, thank you, sir. As always, appreciate the visits and the updates. We'll see you here next time.
Yes, sir.
And anytime we need on for anything we got to talk about city related, just give me a holler. We'll make
I'll
her
do
happen.
that. Well, appreciate the time.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend and enjoy your next meeting. And your green chili. Now, you went sausage.
Yeah.
Have you had the green chili on just the regular with the Canadian bacon?
No.
No? See, I'm a Canadian bacon guy.
Really?
I'm a fan of it. I mean, I love sausage. They're all part of the party to me, but
Yeah.
But,
no, I just
try
I'm
it
really-
on the Canadian bacon once. I think
All
it's a
right.
good, smooth heat texture combo there.
All
Sometimes the sausage spices get in the way, and the ham or the Canadian bacon lets it flow through. So. All right, you're listening to 106.